Welcome back to Autism Live. Really excited that joining us from Plymouth, Massachusetts, we have the fabulous Mari Nosal. Now, did I say it right that time? Because I thought I got it wrong.
You did.
I got it right. Okay, I'm always slaughtering people's
You
names,
did
and
a
I hate
great
it.
job.
It's like I have a blank somewhere in my head that's not so good with names. But in any case, thrilled to welcome you back to the show. And if you've watched the show for a while, we've had Mari on the show before. She is the author of Taking the Dis out of Disabled, but also the author of, I think, a really important book, The 10 Commandments of Interacting and Communicating with Kids on the Autism Spectrum and Related Commandments. And it's now available in a paperback. And so we wanted to have you back on the show to talk about this because I think this is a really important topic. And I'm not always sure that I know what the 10 Commandments are. You know, I feel like I'm learning all the time because it's such a big community and people have different needs and wants. I think it's always a skill that you can hone and get better at it. But why did you decide to write this book?
They say that experience is the mother of invention. I have an adult son with Asperger's. When he was diagnosed, Asperger's was not a common word. We went through the stages of misdiagnosis, ADD, in second grade, later on, oppositional defiant disorder, which I argued, and I still believe to this day I was right, was just anger because he was frustrated, he wasn't receiving help, and he lacked the capability to define the emotions that he was feeling.
Yeah.
I realized along the way, taking into account my experience as a parent, his as a child, and working in the schools as an educator, seeing my students coming into struggle, that you have a combination of people who need to understand. You have a combination of people who need support. That old adage, it takes a village. We all have to be able to work together. We all have to be able to collaborate. And every book that I looked at spoke about what the child needs or what the parent needs or what the teacher needs. And then going into school, I would see passing the buck ideology, the administrators blaming the teachers when the children don't thrive, teachers blaming the parents when the children don't thrive, and upwards and onwards the other way. And what I really felt is that this is a collaborative experience. We all have to work together if this child is going to thrive. Everybody has to be on the same page. The teacher needs to understand the parent needs to understand the teacher, etc. And so what I did is I wrote a book that combined everybody who would be involved in that child's success. The teacher, the parent, the child, and what I tried to do is rather than preach to people and talk at them, talk to them and write a book that made them feel like I was talking to them as a friend having coffee. I also kind of wrote in the third person so it would look like the child's actual needs, the parents' actual needs. They're telling everybody what they want. In other words, it's not written in a academic type of form. It's written in a format that anybody at any level that was reading it could comprehend, and they get together and use what is in the book to accommodate that child and ensure that they thrive to the extent of what their individual abilities are.
Yeah, and I hope you won't mind me saying this, but there are certain books. When I went to graduate school, I remember on the first day that one of my professors said, "Look, there's so much that you need to read, and you need to be reading all the time that you're never going to have time to read all the things that you need to do." And so he said, "I want you to get like 7." He gave us a list of 100 books. He said, "I want you to get like 7 of them, and I want you to stick them on the back of your toilet." And he said, I want you to stick them back there because, you'll catch a minute here, you'll catch a minute there while you're meditating, and I realize this isn't the prettiest conversation, but, sometimes you have a couple of minutes in the bathroom, you take a minute in the bathroom.
Sometimes it's the only place you get a private
right?
moment.
And sometimes it's the only place where you've got the moment. And he was saying you've got so much to do. Every moment has to be accounted for. Take 7 books, put them on the back of the toilet. And he said, I guarantee you by the time the year is over, you'll have read through those 7 books and then put 7 more books back there. And when my son was first diagnosed with autism, I was so far behind and had no idea how to get caught up. And there are certain books now that I will refer to and I will say to our viewers, okay, this is a bathroom book. This is one of those books that you could put on the back of the toilet for you and any guest that comes in to pick up and have a moment and you could open it up and just read a page and your life will be enriched. That it isn't one of those things that you got to read from page 1, to the end page in order to get a benefit from it. And, this really is one of those books you just sit down, open up and go, oh, look what this has to offer to me today, and take it with you for the rest of the day. So I think it's a great bathroom book. I mean that as a compliment.
Well, thank you.
And I want to encourage our viewers. It's also a great book when you've got somebody in your life that doesn't quite get it and has expressed any kind of interest and has said, I don't know what to do to help you, or a teacher who says, what should I know? And sometimes you don't really, we're not all the experts that you are, and you don't really know what to say. It's a great book to give somebody. Don't you agree, Mari?
Oh, I do. I do.
And I love that you look at it from everybody's perspective. And the things, it's so, I have to say that it forces you, if you weren't already, and there are people who aren't already, to look at everybody as human beings. Everybody is human beings. The parents, the practitioners, but most especially the person who's on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
And so how can people get it?
It's on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. If they live in the UK, they can get it on Amazon.UK, Amazon.Canada in Canada. But in the UK, if they look on my website, there are people that they could buy the book from, reputable book dealers, who they can get it from much cheaper in other countries.
And
it's also on creativespace.com.
Fabulous. And
well.
You asked a group of people, is it 11 different people that you asked to also contribute? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, the reason I wanted to have them in the book is I wanted to take autism out of what I call the Petri dish. I read and get irate when I read about these so-called scientists that did studies, and I'm sure that you've read them.
Yeah.
If you listen to a jackhammer while you're pregnant, your child may have autism.
Oh,
they're just totally outlandish. And what I wanted to do is take it out of the Petri dish, and also take it out of that perspective of people who look at our kids as independent variable A and B, and they've never even sat in a room with an autism parent, most of them, or an autism child for any length of time for that reason. And I wanted to put the humanity into it. Focus on the fact that these are real people out there. They're children. You hear the phrase, another one that makes me irate, well, your child doesn't look like they have autism. Well, what does a child with autism look like? Do they have a third eyeball in the middle of their forehead? Absolutely not. Do they have 3 legs? No. I wanted to show the humanness and the commonality between autism parents, their children, what they go through, and everybody else in society at large. the fact that they struggle, they worry about their children, they want them to succeed. And I wrote to 35 families and asked them if they would be willing to give me quotes. And those quotes, by the way, are verbatim.
Yeah.
I did not change them at all. Parents asked me if I didn't like what they did, they could write something else. And I said, the idea is it's from your heart. It's from what you experience in your life with your child. I can't write that for you. And I put them in verbatim. And it also exemplifies the fact that autism isn't only in your backyard. These people are from Panama, Canada, UK, America. It exemplifies the fact that we're all going through the same thing all over the world. Autism is a challenge everywhere, and we need to come together as a common, united front to help the children all over the world. It also shows the different levels of autism. The children and their families are from anything from classic nonverbal up to Asperger's. So it shows the different levels of autism that they are. And every family is struggling with something different. And I wanted a book where people could open it up and say, hey, I identify with that. I'm going through that.
Yeah.
Or this is what I'm going through. I'm going to show this to my mother so she understands my child, or the teacher, or the neighbor down the road, etc.
Absolutely. Now, I had intended to have, but I'm having difficulties with my iPad here to read a couple of quotes, and I can't access it because I don't have access to my email at the moment. But do you have your book there with you? Because I'd love for you to talk to us just a couple of the commandments so that people can see and get a flavor, Mari, for the kinds of things you're talking about. So share with us a couple of the commandments that you think are really, that everybody needs to know. I put you right on the spot. Sure. I had it all set up and I can't access it.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you're doing that, I just want to remind everybody that they can get the book, major booksellers, and that they should definitely, if they haven't already, check out your blog, which is Taking the Dis Out of Disabled, and you're a wonderful writer.
I also have a blog now on LinkedIn with 90 articles.
Fabulous. And we're putting up the address there on the website so people can go and read your blog. Lots of good information there. You got something you want, and I don't just pick something that you want to share. It doesn't have to be one of the commandments.
Well, I have many.
Yes.
This is a big one. I remember when my son was young in school. I would get comments from people. Teachers need to be aware of the self-fulfilling prophecy and judging children by what they see on the exterior. And a big thing, comparing them to siblings.
Yeah.
There is nothing that will shatter a child's self-esteem more than not living up to a sibling in their family. Mine were 22 months apart. My older one was athletic, very musically inclined, played at Symphony Hall, and I had to be very, very alert in finding talents in both of my children. And pointing out that they both have strengths, they both have deficits. Number four, 10 Commandments for educators. Thou shalt catch my child being good. Catch me being good. Please make an attempt to point out my positive behavior, actions, and character traits. If I only hear about what is wrong with me, I will feel as though I am unworthy and withdraw. And this will go into their whole life. They will carry that to adulthood. If I merely get attention from you when I am in the midst of a meltdown or presenting inappropriate behavior, I am being conditioned to misbehave so I can gain your attention. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy at work. Give me positive attention through praise, and you will build my positive self-efficacy see. Help me believe in myself. If all I receive is negative attention, I will still crave it. Remember, in this case, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I believe in you. Will you believe in me?
What a wonderful
That
thing.
is my educator's,
Love
my
it.
favorite one for that.
And unfortunately, we're
Because,
running out of time, and so that's the only quote we're going to be able
all
to
right,
do. But I want people to get the book. It's a great book. It's a great thing to have. It's, put it on the bedside table, put it on in the bathroom so that it's available for people to take a peek at. Get it for your child's teacher. We have Teacher Appreciation Week coming up. It's a great, great gift for you or for somebody in your life. And Mari, you're a great gift for us, and thank heavens for you for all the years that you have put in your time, both as a parent and as an educator. We appreciate you
and thank
so
you for
much.
the wonderful work that you do.
Oh,
You are an example of an autism parent that has made lemonade out of lemons, and you're helping many other people due to the experiences that you've had. So
well,
bravo to
thank
you.
you. I try, but sometimes there's more lemons than lemonade. But we do what we can. But Mari, we thank you so much and keep up the good work.
Thank you and take care.